came to the scene, we did discover that all of her personal belongings were in her car, such as her purse, her credit card, her debit cards. She even had $60 cash.
DaCara Thompson's parents are in pieces. They just want their daughter safe at home. The whole situation is chilling, and the mystery around it keeps getting darker by the day. Think about it. How did Goiz Mendez even convince DaCara to step inside his car? She left her purse sitting in her own vehicle, parked illegally in a no parking zone, like she planned to be right back in minutes. She even told her dad she wouldn't be gone long. When officers showed up, they found everything still inside her car. Purse, credit and debit cards, even $60 in cash untouched. Who leaves all that behind on purpose? That right there screams that something is seriously wrong. And here's where it gets even more bizarre. Why would Mendez bring a random girl straight to his own house, where his wife and kids live? Anybody trying to keep something shady under wraps would sneak off to a hotel or a quiet spot, not drag the whole mess back to their front door. It just doesn't add up. That's why a lot of people believe this wasn't random at all. There's a vibe here that DaCara might have known him before this, or at least crossed paths somehow. And get this, reports say investigators allegedly found women's underwear inside Mendez's bedroom. That detail alone sends chills down my spine. Are we staring at a man with a hidden history? And what about his family? How much did they really see or hear? Hard to believe not a single person in that house noticed something strange. Now, on top of the investigation, this case has exploded online. Some people are arguing that when movements like BLM speak out, it only happens if the victim's life was taken by someone white. Others are furious, saying every black life should matter the same way. And that back and forth is lighting up social media, showing just how divided the reactions around DaCara's disappearance have become. People online are already taking this tragedy and twisting it in the ugliest ways possible. Some cruel voices are even saying illegals don't count, and using that as an excuse for why there isn't more outrage over DaCara Thompson's passing. On top of that, wild rumors are spreading across social media, accusing DaCara of selling herself, which only makes this nightmare more heartbreaking for her family. By now, the basics of the case are burned into everyone's memory. DaCara's father first reported her missing just before 9 p.m. on August 23rd. He said the last time he saw her was the night before, on August 22nd. She had promised she'd be right back, but when she didn't return, he started calling her phone nonstop. The only reply he got was a text saying she was going to grab gas and would be back shortly. After that, nothing. Just silence. On August 24th, her family decided to take matters into their own hands and use the Find My Phone app. That led them to Jasmine Terrace and Riggs Road in Hyattsville, where her car was still sitting untouched. They called the police right away, panicking. DaCara was the youngest of 5 siblings, and they all shared their phone locations with each other. But when they checked hers, it was already shut off. The last ping showed her near that same intersection. Then it just went dead. For days, her family clung to hope, even though deep down they were terrified something awful had happened. A huge red flag kept screaming at them. Her bank account hadn't been touched once. No withdrawals, no charges, nothing at all. Then came the gut punch. On August 31st, around 4:50 p.m., Maryland State Police got a call about a disabled car on Route 50 near the South River. While checking the scene, troopers spotted a body down an embankment, 30 feet below the bridge. Their worst fear had come true. DaCara was gone. By September 3rd, detectives finally met with DaCara's family and confirmed the devastating truth. It was her. They had officially identified her remains. The condition of her body was brutal. She had skull and facial fractures, and her loved ones could only recognize her by her tattoos and jewelry. Imagine the pain of a parent having to identify their child like that. It's a heartbreak no family should ever have to face. But here's where the story takes a wild left turn. Surveillance cameras from August 23rd at exactly 3:06 a.m. caught DaCara stepping out of her white SUV and strolling down Riggs Road toward University Boulevard in Hyattsville. The footage then shows her walking into the parking lot of a business on University Boulevard and heading straight to the driver's side of a black GMC Yukon Denali. She exchanged a few words with the driver, then casually swung around to the passenger side and climbed right in. And that Yukon? Registered to none other than E.Z. Mendez himself, living over on Cambridge Drive in Bowie, Maryland. Just like that, the dots were connected.
DaCara Thompson's parents just want her home.
It's been hard. It's been hard.
But here's the part that makes no sense. DaCara left her purse sitting inside her own SUV, illegally parked in front of a fire hydrant at 3 in the morning. Purse, cards, cash, all of it untouched. Who does that unless they think they'll be right back? Was she rushing? Or did she trust Mendez so much that she didn't even hesitate? And then there's the mystery of her phone. Did DaCara turn off her location tracker herself? Or did someone else take it out of her hands? That detail alone changes the whole timeline. The pickup spot, the timing, her belongings being left behind. It all screams suspicious. Was this a prearranged link-up? Or did something happen in that moment that pushed her into that SUV? Detectives weren't about to play games. But that same evening, just before 9 p.m., police pulled up to Mendez's house and boom, the black Yukon Denali was parked right out front. They didn't waste time. They filed for a residential search warrant, and it got approved. In the early hours of September 4th, the investigation around Mendez's home was in full swing. But before the warrant could even be served, officers doubled back to his place, and what they saw was chilling. Court records say a man walked out, jumped into the driver's seat of that same black Yukon, and that's when detectives swooped in. When pressed, Mendez allegedly tried to play it cool, saying he had been at Galaxy nightclub on University Boulevard during those same early morning hours of August 23rd. Ironically, right across the street from where DaCara was last seen slipping into his SUV. He told officers he was supposed to link up with his ex-girlfriend that night, but claimed it never actually happened. The moment detectives pushed harder, he shut down quickly, denied having anything to do with DaCara's disappearance, and demanded a lawyer. But the second investigator stepped inside that house with the warrant, his whole story fell apart. What they uncovered inside was straight nightmare fuel. Reports say they found what they believed to be DaCara's blood, plus a broken white and pink French-tipped nail identical to hers. In his bedroom and even tossed in the trash. Police pulled out hair, a wig, more blood traces, and several pairs of women's underwear and lingerie that didn't even belong to DaCara. This wasn't just shady, it was damning evidence sitting in plain sight. That's when the hammer came down. Hugo "Easy" Mendez was arrested and slapped with first and second-degree homicide charges for the brutal slaying of 19-year-old DaCara Thompson. ICE wasted no time either, issuing a detainer and calling him a criminal illegal alien, while promising DaCara's family they would see justice. But the horror didn't stop there. Because investigators now believe Mendez ended DaCara's life inside that very bedroom in the early hours of August 23rd. Then stuffed her body into his SUV, drove out to Route 50 near Annapolis, and heartlessly tossed her over the bridge into the South River like she was nothing but garbage. Just picture that for a second. Someone calmly cruising down the road carrying a body in their car, then discarding her as if she had no worth at all. That level of coldness is beyond disturbing, it's inhuman. And here's where it gets even more twisted. He wasn't alone in that house. Other people were living there at the same time. Police questioned them too. One resident told investigators she lived there with her family, including cousins of Hernandez Mendez, along with 2 other roommates. She admitted she couldn't believe her own blood could be capable of something this monstrous, but also dropped a bombshell. She revealed that in the 2 weeks leading up to DaCara's disappearance, she barely saw him around, and his whole vibe had suddenly changed. One cousin even admitted she told Hernandez Mendez straight up, "Confess." During her questioning, she explained that investigators hauled in her husband Hernandez and another relative all at once. But out of the 3, Hernandez Mendez was the only one who didn't walk out free. The very next morning, federal immigration agents stormed the house again, this time dragging her husband away. She swore her man had zero connection to the crime and had been nothing but cooperative with detectives. She couldn't wrap her head around why her cousin's homicide case suddenly triggered an immigration case against her own husband. Then came a chilling claim from another roommate. They told police they heard DaCara and Hugo in that bedroom, followed by strange grunting noises, as if something was going horribly wrong.
Still under investigation, it appears that DaCara willfully entered a vehicle being driven by Hugo Rene Hernandez Mendez, 35-year-old male, out of Bowie.
Hours later, when that same roommate woke up, the black GMC was gone from the driveway. And here's what's creepy. Hugo didn't usually work Saturdays, so that SUV was normally parked right outside. Its sudden disappearance in the middle of the night was a red flag. Other housemates tried to distance themselves quickly. A third and fourth person swore they didn't know a thing, saying they lived on the opposite side of the house from Hugo. But let's be real. How much did they really know? Were they staying quiet out of loyalty, fear, or maybe just trying to protect themselves? Between the cousin's demand for a confession, the husband getting yanked by immigration, and that roommate's eerie testimony, it feels like this household is sitting on puzzle pieces investigators are desperate to put together. And here's the kicker. This wasn't even Hugo's first run-in with law enforcement. Long before DaCara's name was tied to this nightmare, Hugo had already built a rap sheet that looked like a reckless driving handbook gone wild. From traffic violations to other messy encounters with police, his background shows a man spiraling out of control way before this case ever exploded. So the real question is, if Hugo was already a known problem, why was he still out here free to roam like nothing could touch him? Because looking back now, it's hard not to believe this whole nightmare could have been prevented. Let's be clear. We're not just talking about one DUI. Hugo racked up multiple. On top of that, he had open bottle charges, cruising around with booze in the car like he was headed to some late-night party. That alone screams recklessness, but what it really shows is a pattern. He didn't respect laws, rules, or anybody else's safety. He had tickets for operating a vehicle without care, blasting through stop signs, flying past red lights, parking wherever he pleased, basically treating the streets like his personal racetrack. And it gets worse. Unsafe lane changes, check driving on a suspended license, double check. The state literally told him, "You're done, you're not driving anymore." And he still jumped right back behind the wheel like the law didn't apply to him. So here's the burning question. How was he still walking free with all of this hanging over his head, especially since officials already labeled him as undocumented? It makes zero sense. Meanwhile, detectives are still digging to figure out if DaCara and Hugo had any connection before that night. But the unanswered questions just keep stacking up. Why would she leave her SUV parked illegally right in front of a fire hydrant, basically asking for a ticket, if she didn't think she'd be back in minutes? Did Hugo tell her he'd bring her right back? Or did she walk into something unexpected, not realizing she was stepping straight into danger? And what about her phone? Was that location tracker turned off by DaCara herself? Or did someone else shut it down? Could Hugo's own family be holding back on details about what they really saw or heard? And here's the wild part. Locals are whispering that this might not be the first time Hugo's name has been tied to something sinister. People are even speculating he could be linked to other disappearances in the area. Men and women alike, including a father who was found passed just 2 days after DaCara's body turned up. That rumor alone has the whole community on edge. And then there's the question of why Hugo was hoarding women's underwear and lingerie. Were they trophies from something much darker? The thought of that is flat out terrifying. This case isn't just suspicious anymore. It's chilling to the core, and right now, there are way more questions than answers hanging in the air. But I want to hear what you think. Drop your thoughts down in the comments. Don't forget to smash that like button. Hit subscribe to the channel. Share this video with your people, and I'll see you on the next one.